G'day people. Got an interesting one here I'm going to show you with some coils, and this one had me a bit perplexed until I actually did the measurements and found out that it was a bit strange. I've got a GPX detector here sitting on the bench, which is one we're doing some experiments with. Basically making very low noise. Let's flick the switch on that so it'll be nice and quiet. Okay, if you can see on the oscilloscope there, those waveforms, which the oscilloscope's not locked on properly, so we'll just adjust that. There we go. You can see in the middle of the screen there, it's quite important. There's a pointer. Here's the middle, or DC. If I go to DC, you can see the lines at DC level. It's basically ground, if you want to call it ground. And we put it back onto input channel. And the bottom of these waveforms here are sitting on the ground. Or sitting on ground, the ground. Electrical ground. Now, if I do that for sensitivity, let's make sure that I haven't moved it. No. They're a little bit above ground, the bottom of those waveforms, and 50 millivolts of division there, sitting up about 25 millivolts. And the reason for that is the voltage drop across the input FETs from the coil. We'll give that a little bit of offset. Anyway, the coil I'm using is just a standard Minelab GP coil. And it's one I've had for ages, so I know it's not a Chinese knockoff or anything like that. Oops. Oh, there we go, there you go. It's an old GP series double D coil. And I'm using an iPad and it's upsetting it because I'm getting close to it, but anyway. That's correct waveforms you'd expect to see. I'm just looking at the output from the preamplifier. This is the different preamplifier board I've got in the detector at the moment. And if we look at both channels, that's one channel there. And I'll click it onto the other channel. And you can see there's identical waveforms. That's how it's meant to be. But I'll just turn this off. And I'll unscrew this coil, and as you can see, there's a bit of an army of coils going on at the moment, but we need to do these tests. Now, under here, there goes the phone, that can wait, because I'm busy. This is a commander coil.
Hello. Hey boss, what's going on?
Well, I'm right in the middle of doing something. I'm making a video, so if you want to be on the internet, come and talk in here. Anyway, it's got a serial number on this coil. As far as I know, it's hardly being used. I'm pretty sure it's a genuine one. But anyway, look at this coil. I've had a look at the connector on this. Whoops. I've had a look and made sure it's all soldered up properly. It's not very good. Probably a bit blurry there. So it's actually connected properly, done all the tests. And I probably need 2 hands to do this, because I can't get it in otherwise. Okay. I've just got the back shell connected off it at the moment, just so I was doing my test anyway. Now I'll turn that coil on, I'll turn the detector on and the coil, and the detector is working. Sort of. Okay. Hang on a sec. Now, this has got extra gain on this detector through this board. Now, I've just had to turn the gain way down to get this to function. I'll turn the audio off on it. Right. Where's the waveform? This is very interesting. So that's 50 millivolts. Oh, there's something coming up. Now, that is just the basically the a dead copy of the transmit waveform. I'm on 1 volt of division, and I don't even know how this coil is working. It's very, very poor performance. Get on the other channel, and it's that's on the double D side. That's just a squashed up version of it. There's our DC level there, but there's no receive channel. This here should be on that line, and it's about 3/4 of a volt out. Yeah. Well, it's actually half a volt out, according to the oscilloscope readout there, 500 millivolts. But I've checked the coil. It's electrically okay, and I'm going to use a 0.1 on it. It's a 0.1. It's a very small target. If I use a bigger target, like a ring, it'll work fine. But you could, I don't know, I think this might be a brand new coil, and I don't know how it's manufactured, so it works like that. Strange. But electrically, it all tests perfectly. I've got another one of these down here, which actually I've taken the bottom part off. I was doing some experiments with some shielding material. That's been repainted actually with a different type of shielding, and you can see a little earth or grounding wire on there, and also you can see some rub through. See that bit right in the middle of the screen there? That's a rub through, and that's a rub through there. That basically, all those lumps were there to start with, and that's why I don't like this painted or carbon painted paper type of shielding, because anything that's under it, like bits of hot melt glue from manufacture, it rubs on the plastic, and when that shielding rubs through, anything gets under there, like, you know, your wet grass or whatever, it just has to pass anywhere near that and the detector will sound off. But apart from that, that coil works fine. We haven't got this strange offset. So the coil works, but it's not working correctly. This could be a manufacturing issue. It could be a Chinese coil, I don't know. I wouldn't have the faintest idea. But not all coils are coils. Like, not all oils are oils, but there's something very strange going on with this, and it's extremely noisy. So it might be a good idea for people to check their coils. Like I say, this one's electrically wired up exactly the same. I've metered it out. Everything checks the same, but it's got this very high offset. Anyway, I'll work it out. I'll put a video up about it, but what the reason is, but it's just very strange. I don't understand. Anyway, that's our little test board in there. Working away quite nicely, probably getting stressed because of that. But yeah. I thought that may be of interest to someone. That this coil, I don't know, it looks like it's got all the right stickers on it and things, you know. What's that say? You can't really read the glare. It says Minelab on that silver sticker. And yeah, I don't know, serial number C10640052. Looks genuine, but yeah, check your coils, people. You might actually have a coil that sounds like it's okay on your detector, but it's a dud. Like this one here is a dud. Very strange. Anyway, catch you later.